All right, so let's talk about where we are with impeachment. Nancy Pelosi announced today the House managers of the impeachment. I was a little bit disappointed not to see Justin Amash because I feel like that would be a way of drawing attention to this.
Yeah, no brainer.
Yes. Now, there are obviously internal politics too with this that they have to, that Pelosi has to have. I guess there's only going to be 7 managers. Adam Schiff is one, which I think, based upon what he did with the Intelligence Committee, I thought that makes some sense.
And he's done it before.
And he's done it before. Jerry Nadler, Zoe Lofgren, Hakeem Jeffries, Val Demings, Jason Crow, Sylvia Garcia. I mean, these are all very sharp people. I don't remember Jeffries. I don't remember him as much during the I guess he was on the judiciary.
They really love him, and it's very, he's a New York congressman.
Well, they're trying to. Yeah. They're grooming him.
Yeah, it's very clear.
And they're grooming him for a leadership position, and so they want to put him front and center in this, and that's basically what's going on there. So
watch him closely. Not just during this, but in general.
What is the Laura Kelly? What is that, Brendan?
That's the name of the Kansas governor. I put that in.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay. I thought you were saying. All right. Sorry. And so these are the impeachment managers, and they will be basically shepherding the articles of impeachment through the Senate. I don't know exactly what their role is, but they will be getting up and making the case, essentially, the prosecutors. Now, in the event that there are witnesses, they will also be questioning the witnesses. It's unclear whether they're witnesses. Apparently, Ted Cruz is floating like a reciprocal witness things like, you guys can call Bolton and then we call Hunter Biden. Now, frankly,
okay,
I don't have a problem with that.
Thank you for nominating Bernie Sanders
right.
as president.
Right. And that's the game they're playing.
And I bet you Trump doesn't want that to happen either. You really actually have to think about that at this point because he's quietly freaking out over Bernie Sanders.
He's so scared. He's not being quiet about it.
Well, but internally they say he's obsessed with him.
I think, I don't know. I think it's a bluff because I think if they bring in Hunter Biden, it's going to bring a lot of attention to impeachment. And I don't think they want to do that.
That's right.
I think they want to keep this quiet because, again, I've been saying this for a long time. Cory Gardner, we played a clip of, we played an ad the other day against Susan Collins. For instance, here's an example. Susan Collins lives across the street from Stephen King, the novelist. And this is what Stephen King has parked out in front of his house.
Funny.
And it is a truck with a big billboard that says, Trump broke the law. Senator Collins, don't help him cover it up. A vote to convict and remove. And
also, do you have any salt?
And exactly. Do you have a cup of sugar? I've run out.
Great celebrity activism.
That is a dope ass house, too.
And particularly for Stephen King. But the point is that that is a preview of what we're going to hear. And every time they vote to not have witnesses, to foreclose this part of the impeachment hearing or that part of the impeachment, that's going to be the list. And I can tell you, I can see the ad. Yeah. I'm sure you can too. It's just going to go boom, 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 boom. And then they're going to have boxes next to it. And it's all going to say like, voted to protect Trump, ching, ching. Voted to protect Trump from witnesses, ching, ching. Voted against justice, ching, ching. And, there's going to be tiny little writing. They're going to say like Senate bill, blah, 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 impeachment, whatever it is. And that's what that's how they're going to run against. That's how the challengers are going to run against these people. So there's a lot of pressure.
Can we do that to Democrats too?
We're seeing it now with progressive. There's a lot of progressives running against that. Here is Britt Hume. Now, sort of like, and this gives you a little bit of an indication that they are prepared now, that they're starting to realize there's no way we're not going to be able to keep the American public from knowing the facts. And so they have stopped arguing the facts, and they're going to move on to like, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Assume, Martha, just for the sake of discussion, that John Bolton comes in and he says, yeah, the president wanted the Bidens investigated and he withheld the aid for a time to try to get that done. I don't think that adds anything to some of our knowledge. I don't think very many Republican senators are going to say that they think Trump did that or that he's guilty of that, but I think most of them think that he did, and I think what most of them think is improper but not impeachable. Yeah. And I think that's where we've been for a long time. And
now, pause it for a second. So Brit Hume is having it both ways. He's saying, like, I don't think that's what they think that he did. But if John Bolton comes in and tells them that that's what he did, then they'll say, well, okay, he did that, but it's not, not in
the impeachable way.
Yeah, not in a bad way. But I think when they're starting to give ground, the idea that Bolton's going to come in and going to lay it all out, I think that they're moving to sort of like their next sort of retreat, which is, well, even if he did do it, it's not that bad. But this Parnas stuff
is bonkers.
Let me read a little bit from what the New York Times has written about Lev Parnas. Now, Lev Parnas, just a reminder. And I have to say, I went as Lev Parnas on Halloween night, and I don't want to,
Did you really?
I did. Well, because it was the easiest thing, because his picture was around at that time, and it was just, he was wearing a big gold medallion, and that was, like, I like a low sweat costume.
Do you have a picture of this?
No, it was the medallion I wore was not even, it was made out of like a shiny paper that I was just over at a friend's house.
You could have just come to visit Greektown. I would have gotten you one.
I made the choice at like 8 p.m. because I was going to go to I didn't think I was going to go to this party, and I went to the party.
Anytime you need an emergency
gold medallion,
I am the person you call.
I might
have one in my purse right now.
I will. Oh, I'll
It'll
let you know.
only take you 3 hours to get there.
The N train that turns into the R.
So Lev Parnas has turned. Now, let me just preface this by saying it's not inconceivable, although I imagine there are people working on sort of like validating these documents. Lev Parnas has turned and had provided text messages and documents to Congress. And they show that the ambassador, Marie Yovanovitch, who testified in front of Congress, was removed from her post. A Parnas associate now running for Congress sent menacing text messages suggesting that he had Yovanovitch under surveillance in Ukraine. So here's what is included here. The materials include a letter Rudy Giuliani wrote to Ukraine's then president-elect, Zelensky. This is the former actor. Requesting a May 14th meeting with the new leader in Giuliani's capacity as personal counsel to President Trump and with his knowledge and consent. Giuliani never actually had that meeting, but that's what he sent. Another document released by the House investigators appears to show Parnas, Lev Parnas, who is a Giuliani associate. Here's a picture of them. They're all partying somewhere. I don't know where. There's Donald Trump Jr. as well. That's Lev Parnas. But he's with that, but he's not with Giuliani there. Who is that guy next to him? That's not Hyde, right? No, that's yeah. Okay, so he says, okay, this shows Parnas directly involved with efforts to get Zelensky to announce investigations related to Biden. Remember, this is the thing. They only asked for an announcement. They didn't actually ask for an actual investigation because they just wanted the value of that. In handwritten notes on a piece of stationery from the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Vienna, Parnas wrote, quote, get Zelensky to announce that the Biden case will be investigated.
This is
that bad?
Right?
It's so stupid. It's like,
well, that's what I'm saying. It's a low-rent Scorsese script. So the materials show that Parnas, who is a Russian speaker, helped coordinate Giuliani's outreach to Ukrainian sources, was directly communicating with an array of top Ukrainian officials. Among them was Yuri Lutsenko. Lutsenko. Okay, Lutsenko was Ukraine's top prosecutor who Interpol, all of the EU, and the United States was trying to get fired because the guy was so corrupt. He was a close political ally of then the president, Poroshenko, and he was running for re-election, Poroshenko was. Lutsenko wanted to get rid of Yovanovitch, the U.S. ambassador, because she had been critical of his office and supported a quasi-independent anti-corruption bureau that he did not like. This is like when Cuomo didn't want that commission on corruption in New York.
The Moreland Commission.
The Moreland Commission. And it's as if some representative from somewhere else was really pushing for the Moreland Commission. Mm-hmm. And he wanted him.
He ran on the Moreland Commission. Then when it was set up and they started investigating him,
he shut it down.
They shut it down.
So these got these messages written in Russian show Lutsenko urging Parnas to force Yovanovitch out in exchange for cooperation regarding Biden. That is known as a quid pro quo.
It is.
And 4 days later, so this is what he wrote on it.
This is amazing.
Here is what the message was. Okay, at one point, Lutsenko would suggest he won't make any helpful public statements unless Madam, as in the Madam Ambassador, right? That's the way that they're referred to, is removed. It's just that you don't make a decision about Madam. If you don't make a decision about Madam, you are calling into question all of my declarations, including about B.
Which they don't know.
Now, B could mean Biden. It could mean Burisma, or it could just mean some other B that we don't know about that has never come up in any of the things that we see all the evidence about. 4 days later, Lutsenko told Parnas that the work on the case, the owner of the gas company, is proceeding successfully, and evidence of the money transfers of B had been obtained. And here you can't even remove one fool. Right? That is probably Yovanovitch. She is not a simple fool. Trust me, Parnas responded. But she's not getting away. Parnas days later told Lutsenko that soon everything will turn around and will be on the right course. Lutsenko responded that he has copies of payments Burisma made to the investment firm co-founded by Biden's son, Hunter. The following month, Yovanovitch was removed from her post at Giuliani's urging. Now, here's the weird part about this. Now, remember, when Yovanovitch testified, she said that the State Department just called her and said, you got to get out of there right now.
Immediately.
We have security concerns. The Ukrainians have told us there's security concerns, which is weird.
Yeah, which is very weird.
So new documents also introduced this guy, Hyde. What's his first name? Robert Hyde. He's running for Congress in Connecticut, sorry. And he asserted to Parnas in messages that he had Yovanovitch under physical and electronic surveillance.
What does Robert Hyde do for a living? Do we know this?
I don't know what he does.
They just kind of throw him in here.
Yeah, I don't know who he is. He's a Trump donor. We don't know. And he writes in an encrypted message, wow, can't believe Trump hasn't fired this, I think, bitch.
Oh, my God.
And he says, I'll get right on that. To Parnas. Hyde described having contact with a, quote, private security firm located near the embassy that was apparently monitoring the ambassador's movements. She's talked to 3 people. Her phone is off, computer off, he wrote in one message. They will let me know when she's on the move, he said in another. Later, he alerted Parnas that he had been told Yovanovitch would not be moved to a special security unit. So there is evidence that, they know that she is under threat and she's not going to be moved to a special security thing. This is weird stuff.
But why was she told what was happening?
No, she asked, she was never told what the threat was.
That's really fishy.
Yeah, it is.
And also, the Ukrainians supposedly told them, well, wait, who? And
now,
if
Hyde,
the president was in on this.
This is not going to come to surprising you. Runs a Washington-based government relations firm.
Oh, of course.
Finney, Hyde and Associates. That's a lobbying firm. The company's website is decorated with pictures of Hyde and high-powered Republicans like Trump, Mike Pence, Ted Cruz. Hyde's firm claims to have handled major public affairs projects in the U.S. and abroad and worked for clients including the U.S. foreign government allies, or including foreign government allies of the U.S.
Look at those red-faced homunculi.
Yep.
Just grinning their rictus smiles at us.
I really like his avatar.
I think, the question is now, what does Nancy Pelosi do? Do they basically say, does the Intel Committee, do they try and call Parnas into the Senate? They're going to.
Of course.
And they're going to try and call Bolton. Now, Parnas, I think, will come and testify.
Is he an American citizen?
I don't know if he is an American citizen. I don't think so. Remember, they caught Parnas and the other guy, what's his pal's name? With tickets, one-way tickets to Vienna.
Right.
When the FBI rounded them up.
Igor Fruman.
Yeah, Fruman.
Yes.
Igor Fruman. This stuff is nuts.
So crazy.
And so we haven't heard the last of this by any stretch of the imagination. I think supposedly the trial is going to begin Wednesday of next week. And here is Schiff, Adam Schiff, basically announcing this new sort of documents that were released last night implicating Parnas and Hyde.
There's been speculation from time to time maybe the president or his allies will throw Mr. Giuliani under the bus. That letter makes clear that Giuliani, in his own words, is acting at the behest and with the knowledge and consent of the president. There is no fobbing this off on others. The president was the architect of this scheme. These documents are important. We have only obtained a very small sample of the universe of documents that the president is withholding. If Mr. McConnell wants to follow the Clinton model, as he keeps professing, all of the documents were provided before the trial. Those documents should be demanded by the senators. If the senators want to see the evidence, they should demand to see the documents and not participate in an effort to stonewall or cover up the president's misconduct.
Now, I just want to make clear what he's saying there. He's saying, and I think this is why they were waiting. They wanted to wait to release these documents because now they're in the public record. They can be introduced into the trial in the Senate as part of the articles of information the articles of impeachment are being sent with. And the Senate cannot say, like, this is new information that we can't include in this trial that weren't brought commensurate with the commensurate with the articles of impeachment.
What took them so long? They had them, and then
they were waiting
until
for
the holidays
Parnas to get okay from a judge, I think.
Okay.
And that happened a couple of weeks ago, and I think or a week or two ago, and they've been parsing through it, and they wanted to release this stuff and include it in what is being transferred over to the Senate, and so that way it cannot be ignored because it was submitted after the trial started.
Now, McConnell sets the rules for how the witnesses are going to be, questioned. When,
they vote
how long,
on it. They vote on it.
Oh, they vote on it, but he pushes them forward, right?
They vote on it, and then I think, he negotiates with the Republicans, and this is what's going on now. It's like guys like Cory Gardner are going like, we got to have witnesses, because otherwise I'm in big trouble.
Exactly.
And because I can't vote, I've got to vote to have witnesses. I can't not vote to have witnesses because that's going to be another one of those little boxes. Like, the last vote maybe I can take to protect Donald Trump. But all these subsidiary ones, I have to make it look like it's a real trial.
Right. And their excuses, they're playing this game of in 19 when Clinton was impeached, they didn't have to bring witnesses to the Senate,
But I think they did they did have a couple of witnesses in the Senate.
But their argument that they're trying to make is that, you didn't have to go through this exhausting trial. Well, part of that is because the majority of the witnesses were brought before Congress. These are new witnesses, essentially.
I think because some of them came before the House, but I think the other issue is that they're saying, we're just going to go, we don't have to do any investigating. We're just going to use with the existing information now.
Exactly.
With Clinton, there was a 2-year investigation. that preceded the impeachment hearings. So, by Ken Starr. So that's why there was that much more information as it was.
So interesting.
Yeah, and we're going to see. This is going to be pretty crazy. All right, let's do.